Okay, so I don't know about you because I noticed you do live up north, but in the south we have this whole saying: "If mom ain't happy, ain't nobody happy." Right, and it's not so used anymore as, at least not in my circle, as when I was growing up. This was something that was said over and over and over again. But unfortunately, the way that it was said was this thing like, "Oh, you better keep mom happy. Don't do anything to upset her because then she's going to make your life a living hell." Right? Like that's the circumstance in which it was told to me. But what's really interesting is as I have grown as a person, as a mom in the Lord, I have discovered that there is a bit of truth to this. And the thing is that there's a spiritual atmosphere all around us, including our home, right? Everywhere we go, in everything, there is a spiritual atmosphere. There are spiritual things at work for us and against us, right? And so we as moms and dads, right? We as the parents get to be the gatekeepers of our home, but none of us right here are dads, so we're talking to moms. So you get to be the gatekeeper of that atmosphere. And I'm going to read you a few scriptures. Genesis 1:1 says, "In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was over the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God was hovering over the face of the water." 2 Corinthians 10:3, "For though we walk in the flesh, we are not waging war according to the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not of the flesh, but have divine power to destroy strongholds." Proverbs 31:27, "She watches over the affairs of her household and does not eat the bread of idleness." So, as spiritual gatekeepers of our home, it is our responsibility to cultivate the atmosphere in our home. So, begin now, right? Begin now and start to think about the atmosphere that you would like to fill your home. What atmosphere? What do you want it to feel like? And when we talk about atmosphere, we're talking about how it feels. Think about in the deep deadness of winter. Your home can somewhat feel a bit stuffy, right? Because you're not having your windows open and you've got the heat running on. Maybe it's feeling a little dry in there. In the height of summer, the atmosphere in your home can feel cool and inviting and refreshing, but at the same time, that can also feel a little false, right? Like it's not the outside air. My favorite, if you can't tell by the way I just described the other two seasons, my favorite seasons are those in-between seasons of fall and spring where the windows get to be open and there's fresh breeze flowing in and it's very natural, right? But in that, where we live in Oklahoma, it can get very humid and the atmosphere can feel very sticky and yucky, and that's not anything that you want. So begin to think about how you want your home to feel. What atmosphere do you want? And then we get to also define your home. Define what home is. Is home simply the four walls of the house that you live in? Is home your family members? Is home how your family operates, right? Is home how you guys operate together? Is home that sacred space that you have for your family to be able to exist in? And in that sacred space, is it freeing? Is it inviting? Is it safe? Does it have layers of responsibility and teamwork and engagement? Is it just a coming and going and flowing? Right? What is the atmosphere of your home? And what would you like it to be? You get to begin to discover that. And just as there are depths to the layers of an atmosphere, there is depth in the layers of your home. Right? It is this wonderful and amazing gift that we have been given, that we get to decide the meanings and definitions to these different layers and spaces of the atmosphere in our home, right? So we get to go back to Genesis 1 all over again with the Lord and help create the different layers and depths of our home. We get to journey through this and what it means to you and your family. So you get to go from the hovering over the waters in Genesis 1, the calling in of the light, the speaking out to the airspace, the gathering up of the waters, and the reveal of the dry ground. You get to go through each of those processes with the Holy Spirit and deciding, what does this look like for your home? Because when God was creating this earth and everything in it, he was creating home for us. Now it looks a lot different than it did from the beginning of creation. But there are a lot of the same levels, and we get to use this creation timeline, this creation story, as a picture for us to use to be able to create this atmosphere with our family. Now, if I could give you any little tip for this, I would like to say, start thinking and dreaming about what this is and what you think, and start writing that down. And then be willing to have the conversation with your family. If it's something that they're interested in, if they want to have a say-so in this, say, hey, let's decide the atmosphere of our homes. Now, depending on the personalities of your family members, they might be like, that's stupid, I don't understand this. And they might not want anything to do with it. And that's fine. That's fine. Like, that's okay. Right? But you get to do this, and you get to invite them to be a part. All right. So as you and Holy Spirit create the atmosphere of your home, you will get to a place where it is time to let the vegetation sprout up and the life of all the creatures fill the waters in the land. And then it's time to tend the garden. All right. So when we are recounting the creation story, God created man. And he was created and placed in the garden to take care of everything that he was given. Then it came to be known that man needed help. And so he and God looked through all the animals of the land and did not find a suitable helper. So God created you. He created woman. And he created us to be able to be that help and that support to our husbands, to our homes, the family, the earth, everything that God has given us. And so we are not simply these small, fragile beings. We have been given strength and power and ability to come in and serve the world that God has placed in front of you. So if you're starting a business, if you're working outside of the home, if you're juggling sports with your kids, or you're juggling music, or whatever all of the things are that are on your plate, right? We go back to our 7 priorities of our empowered motherhood. And we understand that we have been given strength, responsibility, and purpose to be the gatekeepers of this atmosphere and create it and cultivate it and bring it to life and sustain and help and grow it. And it's this wonderful gift that we've been given.